AIM-listed Power Metal Resources is a global multi-commodity project group with 14 different commodity projects around the globe. The group has announced several key developments recently, notably the drilling progress at its 87% owned Malopo Farms project in Botswana. Plus this week, of course, the Bonanza gold grades announced at the Tati Gold project, which is also in Botswana. Once again, I'm joined by Paul Johnson to bring us up to date on progress. Hello again, Paul. How are you doing?
Hello, Alan. I'm fine. How are you?
I'm very good, thanks. Very good indeed. So great progress since we last spoke. An awful lot's happened, of course, in the country as well, but we won't go into that. Can you tell us what the latest is from the Malopo Farmers drilling campaign?
Yeah, sure. We've updated the market recently. We have completed the first 2 holes. That's into target T16, the conductor there. And we've just undertaken downhole geophysics in the main hole that was down to 650 meters. All the core from those 2 drill holes is being processed. We're looking to send off the samples from that work in a batch basis as we go. And so it's quite a large amount of core, which nearly 1,000 meters so far. And so we're working through to the end of that, getting off the samples to the labs for testing, and obviously reviewing the downhole data and any other technical aspect to that program section. We've moved the drill rig over to target T114, where we're looking at drilling into a pretty major superconductor that was identified from geophysics, and that drill hole is underway right now. So obviously very excited about that too. And we'll be providing further updates to market as we go. I know there's lots of excitement when these programs start, and then people realize that there's a fair amount of work to do. It's multi-month drill programs and the analysis on top, but we're looking to feed the results out as we go. We're not waiting to the end, as it were. We're looking to get the data as quickly as we can and get that information to market.
Excellent. Well, of course, it's not known as the Malopo Monster for nothing. It is a huge project. So looking forward to hearing more on that, Paul.
Well, I'm hoping it's more than one monster in that sense, using monster in the term of major metal discovery. And that's our aim, of course. We're drilling a number of different targets with different features to each. And we're very much looking forward to seeing what's there.
Excellent. Well, this week, of course, you announced some seriously impressive Bonanza gold grades at the Tati Gold project. Now, of course, 47.1 grams per ton and 40.6 grams per ton is always going to pique investor interest. But as we know, it's the continuity of that gold mineralization over the 175-meter strike area that is the most telling. What have you learned from Tati so far?
Yeah, well, we've been learning for over a year now since we first started the engagement with Tati. Very early on, we did, I think it was prior to confirmation of the exercise of the option to acquire the interest, we did some soil sampling and got some really interesting results. We've done various work programs since, including reverse circulation drilling in the northwest of this very large 8-kilometer system, where we found Bonanza grade, very high grade gold from soil sampling. And then we found some really interesting gold grades, 5 grams a ton over 3 meters from 9 meters downhole. When we looked at the system, we saw it fed out of our then 2 license areas, prospecting license areas, into an unpegged area. So we secured that license too. That included the Cherished Hope gold mine. We did lots of additional work on that area, identified targets for drilling, and then commenced the RC program that was undertaken in the summer. 490 meters, no hole down to more than 55 meters, I think. Got the samples together and sent them off for testing. And from that, we announced last Thursday and yesterday that we got the 40 plus grams a ton, 2 Bonanza hits, 1 in each announcement, and various high-grade gold, lots of gold mineralization generally. We're absolutely thrilled and delighted with that. Because, the results are great in themselves, and B, because we'd only tested 175 meters at the southeast end of this system. The rest of the system, all the way up to where we previously tested at the top, the northwest before, remains untested. We intend to crack on with that work. It's actually a much larger scale than I think even the RNS probably revealed, in fairness. You do look, I have to be honest and look back at the announcements that we released, and I see the market reaction. I know it's a difficult market, but I was a bit bamboozled yesterday when we saw the market reaction, which was a small increase in share price. And because we're looking from our perspective of what we see, which is a pretty major potential gold deposit there that will attract quite dramatic amounts of interest, we think. Near surface gold, high grade, some bonanza grade, possible continuity across the whole system. You have to assume that, with my simple approach, that there's, going to be some decent, interesting gold in the middle of that enormous, system. Nearby processing facilities, all the positive boxes are being ticked for this, but it's actually very large scale potential too. So I was a bit bamboozled. I think maybe we weren't quite as effusive as we should have been in the announcement about the real scale potential of this.
Well, hopefully people will pick that up from this interview, Paul. So you've not only got the Malopo monster, you've got the Tati monster now too. So that's doubly impressive. But again, you've got such a vast portfolio of assets. You recently relinquished some uranium assets, but of course you have a considerable uranium portfolio in uranium energy exploration. Can you tell us about that?
Yeah, sure. We vended Reichenbach property, one of our uranium properties in the Athabasca region in Saskatchewan, Canada, into Tethys Financial, which is changing its name to Uranium Energy Exploration. That's listing in London by the end of this year, or at least that's the plan. We also added in E12 property in the announcement recently. And what that means is that prior to IPO financing, the valuation of the vehicle is £2 million. Power has will have on deal completion on listing 73.75% before that IPO financing. And so we got a pretty hefty stake in, I think, the only Athabasca focused junior exploration company in London when it lists. So it's quite a unique opportunity. We see the London market as prime, as one of the leading markets in the world, to have multiple junior exploration companies focused on uranium. Obviously, the 2006-7 major boom in uranium saw prices literally extrapolate away to super high levels of these small companies. We think there's real fundamentals here for potentially a much longer uranium run. And there'll be quite significant demand. Now, we have the capacity within our business with 12 properties in the Athabasca region to do a lot more of this. We've only vended 2 so far, so we can do more. We want to keep some properties in for internal exploration, but we also want to look at further vends. We can access additional properties, and we likely will. We also can, we're looking around the world in different jurisdictions for uranium properties, and I anticipate that we'll have more from around the world. So we can be a real feeder for new listed vehicles or existing vehicles wanting to go into the uranium space in London.
Excellent. Well, on the subject of listings and IPOs, of course, we've seen huge amounts of investor interest in the wave of upcoming IPOs from the power metal stable. First Class Metals, of course, blazed a trail since coming to market in the summer. The share price is well ahead of its IPO price. And now, of course, we've got Golden Metal Resources and First Development Resources on the launch pad. Can you tell us about timelines and what we can expect here?
Yeah, sure. First Class is a vehicle we sold our Hemlo Schreiber interest to last year in September. They made it to market on the standard segment of the main market of the London Stock Exchange in late July this year. So it took a fair amount of time to get onto the market, but they did it, and they've done a phenomenal job. They've gone up 50-60% since the listing. Power Metals position there is just under £3 million. So far we're locked in for quite some time, and we don't really mind, to be honest, because we think it's great and we believe it's going to go up a lot more. And they've got some great projects that they're working on. Following on from that, we've been working on gold and metal resources, which is Nevada focused, centered around Pilot Mountain, a major tungsten opportunity, and also Golconda, a major Carlin type gold opportunity. All the projects are in Nevada. Super great operating environment for junior companies. And we're led by Oliver Friesen, who's CEO of that business, lining up and getting ready to go, as it were, literally in the final stages. Very excited about bringing that one to market, giving UK investors the chance to not only invest purely in Nevada, but in what will be a very, very accelerated and exciting new listing with lots of activity from the off. First development, Alan, is focused on the Northern Territory and Western Australia. They're preparing the drill pad, for goodness sake, on one of their projects, Wallal project in Western Australia. They're targeting a significant undercover gold copper discovery at the Wallal project that bears all the hallmarks to the Great Javieron discovery, with magnetic bullseyes. That Javieron was made by Greatland Gold, sending their share price through the stratosphere. So a great package of Australian exploration projects, quite advanced, as it were, in many respects. Looking forward to that one coming onto the market. They are in the final stages of doing this. And we want these vehicles on the market ASAP, because when they come on the market, of course, we then get to recognize the market value, as it were, the investment value of our interests. In both those companies, we will be locked in for a period of time. And I'm not bothered in the slightest, because I think over the coming months and years, both of them will deliver dramatically. First developments led by Tristan Potas, a Duracell battery CEO, if ever there was one, determined, committed, driven, excited. Yeah. He's just the kind of person you want to get behind with that type of project portfolio.
Indeed. Well, I've interviewed both Tristan and Oliver Friesen, and as you rightly say, they're both absolutely enthused about the opportunities on offer with both companies. So very much looking forward to seeing those come to market. Now, of course, we've covered the IPOs, we've covered Malopo, Tati, and Uranium assets. What other near-term milestones should Power Metal shareholders be looking for now?
Oh, that's a good question, and it's one that I have to really kind of rack my brains, because there's so much activity going on. We do have New Ballarat Gold Corporation, where we have a 49.9% JV interest, and that's in the Victoria Goldfields of Australia. There's lots of activity bubbling there. There's a team operational out there permanently. And we're looking to give further updates to market soon. We're quite keen on getting that one through into the proper IPO process proper and get that one on market. We saw with ECR Minerals the excitement surrounding the Victoria Goldfields. We still think that there is a major opportunity for a junior to lead the way in the Victoria Goldfields as we move into this quite significant potential uplift in the junior resource space. And we're positioning New Ballarat to be that junior. And I know that's gone on for a while, that one, in fairness. I tire of that as much as anyone else, to be honest. We need to get on with it and get this vehicle listed. The opportunity is dramatic. Over 2,300 square kilometres of ground, 15 granted licenses covering over 1,800 square kilometres, and around 500 still in application. 2 former high-grade working gold mines, Berenga and Ajax, that we can do work on to see what the remaining gold endowment is. We've released 2 announcements covering each of those former high-grade producing mines, showing what potentially might be there in terms of remaining gold, and it's dramatic stuff. This is a vehicle that needs to be listed, and we and I are really pushing this one hard now to get this job done. So there's that. There will be lots more corporate activity. It's the nature of the power business. We did want to just get some of these vehicles listed. First class was a great start. Getting gold and metal, first development resources, uranium energy exploration on the markets then kind of frees us up because of the workload, and enables us to launch and to really complete other IPO processes. in the exploration side of the business, where everyone's more comfortable until the IPO vehicles get on market and people start to see the valuations. Everyone's more comfortable with the exploration side because that's kind of where we came from. People are not used to seeing this, generate value, build your balance sheet. It's a model that's I've seen in a few Canadian listed vehicles, not so much in London. But on exploration is very exciting too. We have, amongst our Athabasca uranium projects, results awaited from the summer program, assay results, obviously looking for uranium discoveries there. We also have the Malopal Farms program ongoing. There will be results come out from that by the end of the year. And there we're looking for major nickel PGE discoveries across that 1,700 square kilometers. And finally, in Tati, you've seen what's happened so far. Tati has become a major project for the power metal business. So there'll be news on that as well. In the background, Alan, there's other projects that they're working on where we've got to decide what their future is and how we're going to push them forward. So there'll be news from those as well.
Excellent. Well, really exciting to hear this summary of activities, Paul, and there look to me to be multiple triggers for an upward re-rating of the power share price. Paul,
you've got a number of areas. Sorry, Alan, you've got a number of areas where that revaluation can come. As the resource sector strengthens, the companies that have the awareness, and I think with the excellent work that the internal investor relations team are doing, and I say that because Mitra is sat staring at me now, Alan, so I have to. That we're seeing quite dramatic and high quality output. That our presentations, our website, our slides on Twitter, our Twitter engagement is dramatic. So we have the awareness and it's building. And as the sector lifts, we will lift with that. The corporate work that we do, which is a little bit unbelievable at the moment because of the sheer volume of what's going on. As soon as listed vehicles start to appear and valuations are possible, then it will become very clear what we've been up to. And that will help to lift us, I know that. More defined, definitive work on our exploration projects and the outcomes and people seeing success. And really understanding that success, because in a negative market, people are very cynical and questioning, don't really read, don't want to engage. I know it myself as an investor. I understand this. We have to get success. And sometimes it doesn't always hit the price immediately. You have to work it and demonstrate why Tati is a great project. And that will help us as well. And then finally, there's other areas of our business, of course, that we're doing work on. Silver Peak project, Willan project, Hanetti project, all these other areas where perhaps I think news might surprise people because we haven't been talking for some time about them, and that will help. And in the round, overall, I would hope that by the end of this year, people will start to see much more progress in all of those areas, and we will attract a much higher valuation, which honestly I believe we deserve as a business. But we need to fight for it. We can't just expect it to happen.
Of course. Well, once again, a great summary, Paul. It's been great talking to you. Paul Johnson, Chief Executive of Power Metal Resources. Many thanks for joining us today.
Thank you, Alan.